All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets here, decent little flow up. So spiders are up 36 basis points currently. Dow up 40 in the Nasdaq, the big winner on the day, up 86. But take a look at the Nasdaq, right? Actually, you can take a look at some of these on my screen right here. Apple down pretty considerably, down over 1%. Nvidia down 2, was down a lot more earlier. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all red. Tesla down 1.6. If I told you that, you'd say the market's for sure down. Without looking, you'd almost certainly say the market's down. Or if it is down, then the banks have got to be rallying and the Russell's got to be rallying. But the Russell, IWM only up 17 basis points today. KRE, only up, actually red today. XLF up 24 cents, but nothing crazy. XLV up 60 basis points. So really nothing to say that the market should be higher. But take a look at the second tier, right? If we look at, here's your NASDAQ 100. Look at the top 7, top 8, all red. But your second tier, Broadcom, 10% gainer, new all-time high there, up above 1,000. I know Hawk is happy about that. He gets a bonus. Adobe here, up 15 points today, up 2.5. ASML, up 2.3. Costco, Pepsi, Netflix. Look at the buy the dip here this morning on AMD. Little dip in the morning and then rallying higher. Intel, Cisco. So see these second tier big NASDAQ players outside of the top 8 are getting a nice bid here, and that is pulling the markets higher here today. Now, right now, if we take a look at the spiders, we are about to test. See, high of the day here is 460, 186. We got about 20 minutes left, 15, 20 minutes left in the day. And we are coming into this little pivot right here. So that is 462.07. So that's the high. Now, for me, I care less about that. I care a little bit more about the SPX because it doesn't have the dividends. And this pivot is about 20 points away, and that's 46.37 spot 3. So we're close here to that level. If we get above that pivot, I would say on a weekly close, that opens the door for new all-time highs for the SPY or SPX, S&P 500, whatever you want to call it. That does not mean that, I know if we close above that, people are going to say, oh, Aaron said we're going to all-time highs, so I'll just buy the market. That doesn't mean we can't pull back or have a correction, but usually that's kind of how it works. That's kind of like the last line of defense there. But I just wanted to point that out there. Now, I will say about tomorrow, we had a loaded week here. CPI tomorrow morning, then PPI Wednesday. By the way, too, check that. Tomorrow also 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. So that'll be a big one. Then obviously PPI Wednesday morning, Fed on 2 p.m. and of course the press conference. And then after that, we have a quad witching OPEX. It is a leap OPEX, so there's a ton of equity premium, but everything expiring, every asset class. So we have a loaded week here. After this week, I think the volatility will die out. The market's going to pick a direction. Maybe we go up here and we pull back. But I think we're going to kind of just, I would say the last 2 weeks we're going to chill. We're not going to do a whole lot here. Participation is going to drop. If you think participation is bad the last couple of weeks, get ready. It's going to get worse. But I think this week we have enough. We definitely have enough volatility events to keep us going here and get us some action at least before the end of the year. That said, for tomorrow, the only problem I have here, I like a nice little base here. Spiders 1, 2, 3 up. The only problem, I'd never like it when you pump ahead of a volatility event, especially when you're at literally 52-week highs. So I would say right now, short term, if we do have some type of a euphoric move in the next day or two, it's probably going to get capped right around here. Doesn't mean we can't pierce it. Maybe 46.50 is probably, Gamma Boys will probably be sitting up there, I'm sure, for the FOMC. But I would say it's probably going to get capped up here. And I never like it when you pump like this ahead of a volatility event. But right now, no real problems here. If we flip back over to the spiders, bears, you got to get back below 459.50. And then again, this hourly trend line here. If they could, break that, then we could start talking about levels to the downside. Again, you got to get through this pivot on a close. And then you got 450 and so on and so forth. I don't really think that we're going to have that much downside, even if we do pull back or correct ahead of Christmas. it's not likely to happen in an up year. But you know, you gotta look at both sides there, and that is obviously what we're doing here. But anyways, triple Qs, new 52-week highs today, 395.50. Again, next level. I'm just gonna say, like I said last week, we're just gonna say 400, whole round number right there. I don't think this makes new all-time highs right away. I mean, there's nothing to say it can't by the end of the year, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. I think we'll probably stall out at 400, right? So here's your pivot high, and then your retrace right there. And that's where there's, you know, buyers trapped, right? Also, first of the year buyers, January 1st. Remember, we topped out the first day of the year last year. There it is. Well, second day, but either way, first of the year essentially. So that's kind of where I would look for it to stall out potentially if I had to pick an area. But triple Qs, impressive breadth today, rallying without big tech. IWM on the softer side, only up 13 basis points, but pattern-wise, it is good. That should still get to the low 190s. The one I dislike the most is the Dow. It's just parabolic, so I just don't like that. You know, there's a little bit of a level here at 365, and then it's the double top there on the diamond. So anyway, semiconductors here, fresh new all-time highs on the SMH, up 2.5%, and that is on a day where Nvidia is down 2%. So impressive move there. Also fresh new all-time high for the stocks, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, not close. Check that. So 52-week highs for the stocks, but not that far off. We'll just say next level is 4K on the SOX there. Cloud software here. Nice pattern there. Up move, pull back there, and it's getting a bid. New 52-week highs there as well. Again, I think upside's still a little limited. I could be wrong, but you know, maybe it can float up to 405, 406, but a little stretched here into a supply zone. So just be aware of that. But again, you know, IGV's holding up and the trend is up, so we got to give it the benefit of the doubt right now. Transport's also holding up nicely. So nice day there for DJT at 1.17. Bullish inside bar until proven otherwise, and that pattern looks fine. That inverse head and shoulders is still valid. So no problems there. It does need to consolidate. You've had a big run. So, you know, if it can do that and you can get through 15.6, you know, your next big level is right around 15.9 to 16. Okay. So transport's hanging in there just like everything else. Anyways, all right, let's get over here to interest rates. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up my other screen right now. Okay, there we go. So there's the 2-year. We'll start off with that as always. A little tag of the 20 moving average and a micro pullback. Your next level here is 4.8. If we get through that, it's 5%. And I'm saying that because you had a failed inside bar there on the daily. So the 2-year is interesting. If by chance it was to rally, or the 2-year were to rally, this would be a monster level here around 4.25. I don't really see that happening right now. 5s, same kind of deal. It's still got a good level at 395. 440 and 460 are your levels. Now the 10s and 30s is where it gets interesting. So look at that. I mean, I love this trend line, by the way, going back to December 2021. So it's 2 years from now. Beautiful level. We tagged that and we hit it. I would expect there to be more than a 2 or 3 day bounce off of this. It's a long-term trend line. Look, the last 2 times we hit it, we rallied hard. Same thing with the 30-year. So big hit there. Rally here that led to, you know, a much bigger rally and new multi-decade highs. This one should be similar. Now, the one thing I want to look at here is the futures. So I follow the ZB a lot, and you're going to see here that same trend line is a little bit of ways away. So maybe CPI, I don't know. Maybe the CPI, and you could make a case you got a little pullback pattern there. Maybe we have one more pop up into this area, which would take, you know, the 30-year through that trend line. You know, it might take it down to 4%, or somewhere in that range. Same thing with the 10s, you know, maybe like 3.9. So you can make a case we're going to pierce the trend line here for like a week. And then, sorry, there, so you can see it. You know, 3.9 there on the 10, and the 30s, you know, 4% right in that area. It's possible, right? So that could happen. And you can see the same thing. I know a lot of you guys just follow the TLT. Looks the same as the futures, right? So as opposed to the yield, you know, maybe we have one more pop up to 97.25, and then we kind of pull back. It's certainly a possibility. So I could see that happening, but I do think that yields are going to put in some type of a low here in the next, you know, if they haven't already in the next week or two. I would say a tradable low will be in place in yields. And Yeah, I think that's likely to happen. But in any case, we'll watch those levels. If we do pop up, we'll look for the TLT and the ZB to go up there. Anyways, I know I'm taking a long time here today, but a lot to talk about. XHB, new all-time highs, and pulling back off of that. The trend is up there. VNQ trying to work off that overbought condition. If this can catch up, those moving averages can catch up. You can push back up into the 86, 86.50 area. So VNQ holding up okay. XLF, what can you say? Little pullback there, and it's acting well. It is still very stretched. That's what I don't like. There's a lot of supply up here. So this may have to, this may end up being a fake breakout here, but, the chart's repaired itself quite a bit here. There's a KRE, same thing. We'll just give that the upside bias to 50. KBE, that can still go to 44. Broker dealers, there you go. So that's the charts working. 422, 422.31. Inverse head and shoulder, simple measured move there. We can erase that now because we have hit target. That is not a short. It's just an upside objective. Just be aware of that. But new all-time high for the XBT. Crude here having a 23-cent gain on the day. I don't know what this wants to do. I would say 74, 75 is resistance. 66 is support on the downside, but the more this consolidates, the less I like it. XLE getting a little bit of a bounce up 19 cents. Leave that alone. XOP, it's holding that trend line, but I don't really like it that much. Then OIH here, possible little bear flag setup. I would like that around the 280 handle. CCJ and URNM, nothing doing right there. Trend is up. They can still go higher. Nat Gas was really the talk of the town today. Really across the board here. Take a look. Massive dump here, down almost. I think it was down 11% at one point. And I think a lot of this, and I'm going to talk about this with silver in a minute. A lot of this is probably quad witching related, quarterly OPEX. But take a look at the volume on Nat Gas here. You may have some type of low in place. So every time we get above 200 million, it's a pretty significant move. This is not a contract day either. So it's not like it's a contract rollover and there's new shares coming in or new contracts coming in. So you have a bottoming tail there after hitting all the way down to 230. What a move. So that may be a low. We'll have to see follow through, but you have volume behind it. So we'll see what kind of pattern this puts in here. But massive move down. And if this can follow through, Nat Gas moves fast. It can go to 3 pretty quickly. So if you wanted to trade this against the low and just put a stop below the low on a close, I would not have an issue with that. But Nat Gas finally looking like it put in some type of a low there. You can see the intraday here. They just gapped it down, flushed it, and then a massive move there off of the lows. So that may be a pivot in place there for NG. Anyways, dollar index sitting at 104.08. This pattern actually looks pretty good going into tomorrow. Look at the 4 hour. You got a little inverse head and shoulders there on the 4 hour. And coincidentally, or perhaps not, it coincides with that 104.35 area that I've been telling you guys about for weeks now. So you get above that. Let's just do it for fun, even though it hasn't triggered. So it's right about there. Okay, take you up to 106. So again, that hasn't triggered yet, but it could, and that would take you right up to that breakdown, pivot, retest. So we'll watch that tomorrow on the DXY. With dollar getting a bid here and looks fine here. It looks like it does want to have a counter trend move. Now gold also pulling in. Again, leave it alone right now. I think it needs 1950 here. Doesn't mean it won't get a bounce here. The Fed, we got the quad wedge, you got all sorts of stuff going on. It is retesting 2000. But I feel a lot better about it at these moving averages around that 1950 handle. Silver here, again, I think a lot of this is quad wedge stuff. You guys know how, you guys are active traders like I am. You guys know. So we hit the 618 today. We basically hit it. We were going to day trade this earlier, and I was waiting for it to get to a pierce of 23. And you guys know how unusual it is for something that is going down in a straight line like this on volume for it to not pierce a level like that. So I was looking for like 2290, 2295, and it came down here and then it just stopped. I think a lot of this is the algorithms kind of tightening up. They know that buyers are sitting right there and they didn't want to let them get filled. So maybe some options X related stuff here. I do think silver gets a bounce in the next couple of days, but I think it's going lower in the medium term. So I think there'll be better entries in it moving forward, but doesn't mean it can't get a bid here. Platinum sideways day, nothing going on there. I think that one can have one more retrace. Palladium here, a little bit of a nothing burger. That can still go a little bit lower. We'll look at 900 there. And then copper, pretty good outside move down 1.19 right now. Outside move from Friday. We'll see. This is getting choppy here. So we had the nice repair job last week. Nice bounce off the lows, and now kind of testing those lows again here. You don't want to see this trend line break again. We closed below last week's low. This is going down. So be aware of that. All right, Bitcoin here. A little bit of volatility. Finally, a little bit of a retrace. Looks like we're going to close potentially below that green bar there. So a possible failed inside bar at the highs could mean something. Elizabeth Warren came out with some BS bill, who cares? But, that is part of the reason it seems that it sold off. It looks like somebody knew about it beforehand too, because somebody hit it last night and then it got hit again on the news. So it is testing that little fake print low from the other day. Still above the moving averages, but you are below that green bar. I don't like that. Short term, right around 39. I'd say you can retest that trend line. We'll see if that ends up playing out. By the way, ETH hit our target. We talked about 2,400. Beautiful tag the other day and pulling back pretty sharply. This should have some support around 21, which it's basically into right now. So a little bit of a pullback here in crypto. I can't touch this pattern here. Again, it's up a lot. So you have to expect this type of volatility. You got to expect that when something is parabolic like this, it can come down just as quickly at any point. So just be aware of that. But right now it's holding the moving averages. And again, next area, if it gets through that, we'll look at, 39. And then again, you got both these trend lines kind of converging right in this spot. So we'll see how it reacts there. But this type of stuff will happen during OPEX week. Lots of news, lots of rumors. Anyways, so market's closing about a minute here. Let's take a look at the spiders. So we just cracked above that level. So I'm glad I was able to take you guys into the close there. So there it is, 462.07. And we're just above that right now. So the only thing I would be cautious about is that they're pumping this ahead of a volatility event. I never like that. By the way, the VIX is dumping ahead of a volatility event. I think it did come off the lows a little bit, but it just means you want to be careful and be on your toes. I don't trust pumps ahead of this type of stuff, but right now the market's not giving us a reason to be too bearish here. I'd say we're probably going to test this tomorrow at this point, unless the CPI misses completely. But that is the next big line in the sand there for the market, and we'll continue to monitor things day by day as always. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you guys all tomorrow.